Talk in the Cloud.
Everyone is talking cloud these days, but are they talking sense? Today, we're talking marketing and the cloud, transformation from a practical point of view, and we're going to give you advice and examples to make cloud work for your business. Today, our marketing expert is Pritesh Gadia, the lead in Accenture UK and Ireland of Accenture Interactive. Now, Pritesh, you lead something called Accenture Interactive. Before we dive in, tell us what that is and how your background is relevant to CMOs.
Ellen, thank you, and it's a real pleasure to be here. So Accenture Interactive is what I like to refer to as probably Accenture's best kept secret. Look, simply put, since it was formed in 2009, Accenture Interactive has become the world's largest digital agency. In the UK alone, we've got 11 different brands on one single P&L, ranging from creative, design, marketing advisory, technology, and delivery. And I'm fortunate enough to look after Accenture Interactive across UK and Ireland, which has led to an opportunity to work across some of the world's largest digital brands, right? Working with the C-suite to help them think about how they pivot their organizations to the just increasingly growing demand for digital to consumers.
So you're working generally with CMOs. Marketing hasn't traditionally been thought of as terribly techy. Often they're the polar opposite personality-wise from the tech guys. So what are you seeing, and how big is that shift for marketing people to this brave new digital world?
Yeah, Ellen, that's a great question. I'm certainly seeing a new brand of CMO emerge, and frankly, their relevance will only increase as we emerge out of this pandemic apace. CMOs are under great pressure to achieve more with less, and their marketing budgets have declined massively over the last 4 years. But they really need to start thinking about how they can drive innovation. It's never been more critical. CMOs have always been the experts when it comes to creative campaigns, brands, and other, if you like, right brain aspects of the business. But today, they need to demonstrate the left brain credentials even more, and the sort of new breed of CMO needs to master both the art and the science, and that sort of TQ or technology quotient, as I call it, becomes even more important.
And talk to us more specifically about cloud and data, and how are those two technologies playing into this world?
Well, I think the demand to be more innovative, requires us to think about adapting to the sort of agile principles about how we bring multidisciplinary terms together and launch products fast. And this is really where cloud becomes really, really important. The cloud is beyond technology and infrastructure. And then think about it as 3 layers, right? There's the base layer, which is sort of the data, the apps, or the code. The second layer is sort of the data and where you see and recognize patterns and data insights. But it's the third layer, the experience layer, that's really important. And when you have a cloud, what it allows you to do is bring that wealth of data, customer insights from across your organization, and frankly, deliver new products and services much quicker than you've ever done, that combine so much more insight than you've ever had access to.
Now, I'd love to have some examples from you here. Now, I realize we don't want to talk about any specific client names because what we do for them digitally is each individual company's secret sauce. So we're not going to give out any secrets here, but could you talk to me in general about the types of projects that you are seeing and helping with that bring people world-class marketing?
So the pandemic has certainly been a great opportunity for us to work with clients to accelerate our delivery of technology. I mean, even in the last year, we worked with a major grocer to really rethink the entire shopping experience, to make it clean, to make it safe, to think about how we infuse physical and digital, introducing new services such as curbside pickup, contactless payment, in-home virtual consultation. And look, outside of day to day, you just have to look at what's happening out there in the market. You look at what Disney have done in terms of rotating to a streaming company. They set themselves a target of 95 million customers in 5 years, but they hit that in 8 months, right? They hit their 5 year goal in 8 months through leveraging the cloud. So it's all about having that infrastructure, that capability to release new products and services. A really great example I really like and has really resonated with my daughter. Again, it's not work we're driving directly, but Pret a Manger released the first ever coffee subscription service through the pandemic to drive up loyalty. You know, they were in a place where they were looking at closing a reasonable percentage of stores, but releasing this service through the pandemic allowed them to increase loyalty, allowed them to increase new reach to customers and drive brand.
I think Marketing Week has probably never had it so good on case studies and fabulous examples. It's been a great time. But this, I assume, is a bit of a stretch for some marketers. I mean, you and I have both been in the industry for a while, and marketing. It, a lot of marketeers do not traditionally come from a STEM background. How much of a stretch are you? Do you see that it is?
It's certainly a challenge, but I'm seeing CMOs embrace it. They recognize they're from a brand, creative, and content background, and they recognize the increased pressure to be able to orchestrate across the ecosystem to deliver even greater and more seamless personalized experiences, right? And many of them feel they don't have the data within their organization to support the level of hyper personalization they want to deliver. And you know, there's an ongoing debate in the marketing community that you will know about. Do you drive customer loyalty through ingenuity or science? Well, actually, it's both, right? And the new breed of marketeer, I think, needs to know how to combine human ingenuity with innovation to drive growth, value, and loyalty. And that is a challenge. It's not going to happen overnight. And there are a number of things that marketeers, CMOs, and their teams need to think about.
And how can people get better at those skills? Now, I would guess that working with good partners and learning from them is one thing.
Yeah, I think that that's absolutely right to think about the right partners and the right ecosystem. But they also need to think about their own teams. I mean, I think the thing about marketing organizations is they've traditionally focused on the internal lens of the data and insights available to them within their four walls. But actually, what they need to start thinking about is the diversity of their teams and the talent the CMO has access to that plays to the strengths of the team, because that stimulates creativity and innovation. So they should be looking to create, they should be looking to recruit marketeers that are technology and data obsessed as well as brand and creative. They should think about how they get to know other CMOs that have an innovative background, share ideas, and address challenges. They should think about the training organizations that can support their marketing teams to sort of increase their TQ. And frankly, they should experiment and they should test and learn with new innovative projects. And there's never been a better time to do that. And the need for innovation, the needs for new products and services have never been greater. And we've seen through the pandemic, people are willing, I think, to take the risk, to try new things, to work across disciplines, to test and learn, and develop skills in that way.
Yeah, and the really good digital marketers, and I know that you run a regular roundtable to get together with many of them. I mean, they're really upping the status of marketing in their organizations, aren't they? Because marketing in this new digital model has the sorts of statistics that all the other disciplines used to use to prove their success. So, Pratesh, my roots have been in marketing for decades, so I know the discipline has been fretting for many years about being second-class citizens to sales and other parts of the business who more obviously generate revenue.
I think absolutely it does. And I think there's never been a more important time to think about the flawless experiences customers expect and how important it has become. Even as consumers ourselves, we recognize the increased demand for outstanding digital services, right? And the CMO is best placed to look at how he can leverage the brand, the technology, and the data around him to create new digital experiences, new ways of targeting customers that drive that loyalty, and frankly, create a new brand of leadership within the company that really thinks about and focuses about being an experienced company. And in the CMO roundtables that we host within Accenture, we talk about some of the challenges. We talk about what does it mean to be the CMO of the future. How can they work with and support the CEO to create a business that is experience focused?
And those are for Accenture clients, correct? So if somebody wants to be a part of that roundtable, they can just reach out and make a request to get into it, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We have about 70 CMOs from some of the biggest corporations that get together on a monthly basis to discuss some of the really challenging topics that they come across day to day.
Right. Now, I just want to draw us towards a conclusion by talking measurement, another thorny long-term problem in marketing. It's always tough to measure what looks great. Um, how do you measure marketing in a digital corporation? Presumably, it's easier.
It's a really, really interesting question. When you measure in a digital organization, you need to think about being customer centric and customer focused. But that's an overused term, and companies say they're customer centric, right? Even digital companies. But yet, what do? They measure revenue, growth, profit, and similar kind of KPIs. So what they're actually measuring is how the customers are performing for the company, as opposed to how the company is performing for the customers. So I think we're going to see an emergence of something that I call customer performance KPIs or indexes, which think about how is the brand performing for them. How easy is it to buy a new product or a service? How quickly is an issue addressed through customer services? All these things are things that are driven through the experience, driven through brand loyalty and marketing. And if the CPIs are doing well, we're driving engagement, we're driving reach, and we're driving success of marketing.
It's a fantastic time to be in marketing. Let me finish this today with giving you a little assignment. Imagine that you're in charge of rewriting the standard job description for large corporate chief marketing officers. Give me a handful of bullet points that you would make universal in that updated job description.
That's a wonderful question. Well, look, there are a few key things I would think that are important for a CMO. First of all, they need to be a creative and a scientist. They need to be collaborative, both at a board level and lower down in the organization. They've got to be innovators. They've got to have an innovation mindset. Clearly, they must be customer obsessed to be a customer champion. They need to know the value of how to be a guardian of a brand and deliver the promise and reputation of a brand. I'd say finally two things. One, they need to be the translator for the C-suite to make marketing into a language that the board can understand. And finally, the most important is they need to be a business operator to think about the business strategy, the operating model, and how technology can drive that.
It's a big list, but an exciting one. Pritesh, thanks for joining us today. It's been a great chat.
Thank you, Ellen. Great to talk to you.
Chief marketing officers, current or aspiring, can hear more from Pritesh by following him on LinkedIn. You can also keep an eye on news and thought leadership from Accenture Interactive, full of loads of good stuff for the cutting edge, forward thinking marketer. If you don't think of Accenture as a marketing company, then you might be pleasantly surprised. On our next walk, we're going to be getting our hands dirty in operations, manufacturing, and supply chains with Maddie Walker.
Walk in the cloud.